How did the move to Tottenham come about, and was that a difficult decision to make?
What's it called? I mean, I was sitting with my dad, and the phone went. It was Kenny Dalglish first, and he says, "Hi, it's Kenny Dalglish." And I looked at my dad. I went, "Dad, Kenny Dalglish." He said, "I want you to sign for Liverpool." So I spoke to him for half an hour, and I put the phone down. And my dad said, "What did he say?" And I went, "Dad, to be honest, I did not understand a word he said." So that my dad called me an effing idiot.
I know how you felt.
So I couldn't understand him. So, and then it was then the Sarsfield called us. He says, "Look, we want to sign you." And I went, "Okay, I'll sign." So he said, "I'm going on holiday. When I come back from holiday, will you be at Old Trafford?" I went, "Yeah." So I've told me Dad, going to Old Trafford, Man United, and he went, "Brilliant." And then 2 days later, the phone went, and it was Scholar signed for Tottenham. And it was so funny because I went, "Oh, look, I'm going to sign for Man United." So I said, "Dad, it's Tottenham." And he went, "No, tell him to F off, you sign for Man United." So I said, "My dad says F off, I'm signing for Man United." So he went, "Tell your dad, I'll give him £120,000. Hold on, Dad, they're going to give you 120 grand if I sign for Tottenham." He went, "What you waiting for then, son?" That's what he said. I went, "Oh, yeah, I think I'm going to sign for Tottenham." And my dad went, he's not moved off the chair, and he went, "Son, the house has got a garage." He hasn't even moved off the chair. I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "I want a BMW soft top, private reg." So I rang Irvin back and I says, "Can I have me dad have that?" He went, "Oh yeah, consider it done." So obviously I was on the way and I passed Old Trafford. I was worried. And when I got near the ground, it was my sister rang up, "Paul, if your mum's getting a house, my dad's getting a car, I want a sunbed." So the deal was done on the sunbed.
Gazza, what idiot turns down Man United?
I know. And, people always say it would have been different if I signed for Man United. Would he have kept us under control? Well, Eric Cantona two-footed somebody in the neck in the stands. Wayne Rooney went with a granny, and Ryan Giggs went with his brother's wife, so I made it fit it in.
Mike is on the floor. Where are you, Mike? Are you still around? He's on the floor laughing. You've got a point, Gazza. It's a good point.
I just made a statement in the dressing room. I said, I'm going to buy some fireworks. I'm going to get the kids some fireworks for a wee firework display on the 5th of November, obviously. So he turned to me and winked and said, "I'm your man for fireworks," he says. I went, "Aye, here we go." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I can get you £100 box," he says, "for a tenner." I said, "That's lovely." I said, "Get me 2 boxes of that, let's be smashing." So he said, "The only problem is," he said, "I can't tell you where I'm getting them," he said, "You need to meet Jimmy, the legendary Jimmy Five Bellies, up the back of the stadium, up the Celtic end, at 8:30 tomorrow morning." I went, "Okay, so this is some big deal, So anyway, I turned up 8:30. Jimmy's waiting there, opens up his boot, 2 black bin bags, massive things, sticks them in the boot of the car, gives him his 20 quid, away we go. So anyway, that night I opens the box. "I better have a look at these fireworks," I said. So there's that radiation stamp right across the box.
Biohazard.
That's the one. And you know what I'll never forget what it said underneath it. "Spectators must be at least 50 metres from detonation." Like, and you've never seen fireworks like these in your life. Honest to God. I'll move the story on. I'll give you an idea. We're coming back the following weekend. My wife and I were coming back from a do in Glasgow, right? About 1:30 in the morning. And she's on the phone to Gascoigne. Gascoigne wasn't to do it. He said, "I'll tell you what I'll do." He said, "When you get in the house," and remember he lives in the next village, he said, "I've got a couple of those rockets left." He said, "I'm going to let one off and I'll point it in the direction of your village and let me know if you see it." Right? This is at 1:30, 1:45. I swear to God, Max, 5 minutes going, I thought, I'm just going to go to sleep. And the next minute, boom! Right? And the whole bedroom lights up. Right? Honest to God. And that's just Gascoigne had set off a rocket from the other village to see if we could see it. Needless to say, the story does not have a happy ending, because 15 minutes later, Gascoigne, courtesy of Glasgow's finest, was sitting in a police cell.
And plus he was some boy. I mean, that story, I'll never forget that story. He used to go I mean, you know what he's like, he's an insomniac. He just could never sleep. He loved his fishing. So we used to come into training every morning, call on tie. We trained at Ibrox. That was just something, the history of the club, 140 years. We used to come in, call on tie. So And they used to be in every morning, bang on 9 o'clock for training at 10. But one morning he's not there. It's 10 o'clock, 10:15, and we're looking about. Where's Gascoigne? You know. Next minute, the door gets kicked open, and he comes in with a pair of waders on, right? With a collar and tie underneath. Holding up two of the biggest trout you've ever seen in your life, right? So we were just falling about laughing. Couldn't believe it. Hysterical, right? So he was injured and I was injured. So the boys go away in the minibus on the away training, and he said to me, he says, right, come on, Coisty, he says, we'll have a laugh for the fish. I says, what do you mean? He said, right, who's been annoying you? And I went, I said, Jury. I says, Gordon Jury's been really annoying me. He says, right, get into his pocket, get his car keys. So we went into Dukey's car, his trousers, went out of his car, right? So he comes out with the 2 fish, Gascoigne. So we open up the boot. No, this is unbelievable. So one screw, the spare wheel, and I throw the fish in, and I go to throw the other fish in. And Gascoigne says, no, he says. I said, what do you mean? He says, watch. So he takes one of the fish out, screws the wheel back on. He finds a compartment in the back seat of this car that you wouldn't know existed, and throws the other fish in there. And he looks at me and says, when he finds the first fish, he'll think that's it. Do you know what I mean?
So
it's a sensational criminal devious mind. That's what we're dealing with. Well, I need to tell you, for the next 3 or 4 days, Jury's coming in and saying, "They're smelling my car. I can't get rid of it." He says, "I'm even stopping at the traffic lights." He says, "There's people walking by me." And then, of course, he finds the first fish, like Gascoigne said he would find the first fish, and he thinks that's it. But he says, for the life of me, I can't get rid of the smell. And I swear to God, we went out one day to go on the bus, and you know these wee Christmas tree air fresheners? It was like Sherwood Forest. You've got yellow ones, orange ones, blue ones, purple ones, every fragrance known to man, you know. And I think it took him about a month to get rid of the smell in the car when he found the second fish. But I mean, that was Gascoigne, the funny side of Gascoigne.
But we know Gazza has his issues, and he had he was a bit OCD, and he had these coffee cups where he had to, if you drank the coffee cup, you had to wash it straight away and put it back as soon as he finished with it. And Andy Townsend actually told me, Andy Townsend lived with him when he was at Middlesbrough. Andy Townsend lived in Birmingham with his family, stayed with Gazza midweek up in Middlesbrough, which is like a 3-hour drive, and then came home on weekends. So he had this coffee cup, drinking coffee. Gazza needed to wash it up, but Andy hadn't finished and they were late for training. So Andy says, I'll take it to training and then we'll take it home and wash it up after. And Gazza actually says, and of course when he's telling it, he's hilarious, and he says he couldn't concentrate in training because he knew he had the coffee cup, because Andy just put it in his bag and he knew that it was in the dressing room and he had to wash it up, so he couldn't train properly. Then after training, he had to go in the gym to work up a sweat because the coffee cup needed to be washed and it was in there. Unfortunately, in the meantime, Brian Robson told Andy Townsend that he could have the day off the next day. So of course Andy's not thinking about his coffee cup in his bag, so he just drives home to Birmingham. He says about 2 o'clock in the morning he got a knock on the door. Gazza drove all the way from Middlesbrough to Birmingham to get the coffee cup to wash it up. And Gazza actually says he went to bed like at about 9 o'clock, but he just stayed awake, couldn't sleep till 11 o'clock. He said, I've got to go and get the cup. And he drove all the way down.
It's topical, I can't really say that one. I'll give you a daft form, right? This is Gazza for daft, and it's clean. The rest are not. When players, like, it's not just Gazza, it's every player. If just say if we're at Newcastle or he's at Middlesbrough, and you're playing away, and just say you're playing down at London. So like sort of our London lads, they'd want their cars driven down. Mm-hmm. So after the game, they can jump in the cars, go with the families, and then on Sunday or wherever they just drive back. So that's what the lads would do. They'd ask the kit man, they'd ask one of the physios, they'd ask one of the other lads that help out to drive the cars down. So Gazza used to do that. But what he used to do is, whether it was the kit man or whoever, whatever club he went at, he got them to do it. And then when they'd gone 10 minutes down the road, he'd ring the police up and see his cars being stolen. So when the bus had passed them, the physio would be pulled over by the police, bent over the bonnet. But that was like little daft things he would do.
4 o'clock in the morning, and my wife says to me, she said, there's somebody downstairs. I said, what? She said, I'm telling you right now, she said, there's somebody downstairs. So I listened, and sure enough, I could hear somebody downstairs.
Now, I don't know if you ever had that happen in your house at 3 or 4 in the morning, but it's not pleasant. So I jumped up and I got a 3-iron. I'll never forget, I got a 3-iron. Now, I could never hit a 3-iron at the best of times. It's the wrong club I've picked up, clearly. I go downstairs and I can hear noises coming from the kitchen. Right? So you're faced with this prospect of a burglar or whatever it may be, an intruder in the house. So I think, what am I going to do here? I'm just going to have to react to whatever happens. So anyway, I actually kick open the kitchen door. And what I'm faced with is I recognise the back of Paul Gascoigne in my fridge. Now, this is 3:30 in the morning. He doesn't even turn round, right? I say, Paul, what are you doing? He still doesn't turn round and tells me, I'm making a sandwich. I said, you're what? He says, I'm making a sandwich. I said, it's 3:30 in the morning. He said, I know. He said, but I woke up. Now, remember, he lives in the next village. He said, I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep and I'm hungry and I didn't have any food in the fridge. So my next question, clearly, how did you get in? I says, how did you manage to get in? He said, he says, I remember. He said, remember about 3 or 4 weeks ago, he said, you're on the phone, he said, to your missus, and you told her you left the spare key next to in a wee bag underneath the oak tree. He said, I remembered that and I just thought I'd come and use your key to go and make a sandwich. Honest to God. So I went back up the stairs and the missus said, what's going on? I said, you're all right. I said, it's only Paul making a sandwich. So